The grand amphitheater of Zephyria Prime fell silent as Queen Anna raised her 4 crystalline arms, her ethereal blue skin shimmering under the artificial suns. Representatives from a dozen star systems had gathered for what many considered the most important diplomatic event in galactic history. The Zephyrian Empire controlled the largest network of hyperspace lanes, and their queen's decision to seek a consort would reshape interstellar politics forever. "I have ruled alone for 3 centuries," Queen Anna's voice resonated through the chamber, translated simultaneously into hundreds of languages. "But the ancient laws of my people demand that I take a mate before my 4th century begins, or abdicate my throne. I ask now, who among the gathered representatives will step forward to claim my hand?" The silence stretched on. Anna's multiple eyes scanned the assembled delegates, the proud Valorian warriors with their bronze scales, the intellectual Cerebrans with their enlarged craniums, the wealthy Plutonian merchant princes draped in jewels. Each delegation had sent their finest, their most eligible members. Yet none moved. The stakes were clear to everyone present. Marriage to Queen Anna meant shared rule over the most powerful empire in the galaxy. It also meant genetic compatibility tests, surgical modifications to survive in Zephyrian atmosphere, and the complete abandonment of one's home world and species-specific culture. Ambassador Riza Chen of Earth sat in the smallest section, representing humanity's modest coalition of 12 colony worlds. At 32, she was young for a galactic ambassador, her black hair pulled back in a simple ponytail, wearing the understated blue uniform of the Terran Diplomatic Corps. While other delegates adorned themselves in ceremonial armor and exotic materials, Riza carried only a worn leather journal and an old-fashioned pen. As the minutes passed, nervous shuffling echoed through the amphitheater. The Valorian champion, Krex the Mighty, had been expected to volunteer immediately. His people valued honor above all else, and marriage to a queen should have been the ultimate honor. Yet he remained seated, his bronze face troubled. The Cerebranian high thinker performed rapid calculations on a holographic display, weighing probabilities and outcomes. Even their advanced intellect seemed insufficient to make the decision. Queen Anna's expression grew pained. In her culture, to be rejected by all suitors was not just personal humiliation, it was grounds for exile. Her own council would be forced to strip her of her title and banish her to the Outer Rim territories. That's when Riza stood up. The movement was so unexpected that several delegates gasped. The human section was barely visible from the royal dais, tucked away in what most considered the minor powers area. Yet there she was, a small figure in blue walking steadily toward the center of the amphitheater. "Your Majesty," Riza called out, her voice carrying clearly in the vast space despite its normal volume. "I volunteer." The arena erupted in chaos. The Valorian delegation roared in outrage. How dare a human barely evolved from their planetary cradle claim such honor? The Plutonians began frantically calculating the economic implications. The Cerebranians simply stared in disbelief, unable to process such an illogical decision. Queen Anna herself seemed stunned, her 4 arms falling to her sides. "Human, you understand what you propose? You would leave your world forever, submit to genetic modification, share rule over subjects whose biochemistry could kill you with a breath." Riza reached the center of the amphitheater and looked up at the towering alien queen. "I understand completely, Your Majesty, and I accept all conditions." But why?" Anna's voice was barely a whisper, but the chamber's acoustics carried it to every seat. "Your species has nothing to gain from this alliance. Humans control no vital resources, command no great fleets. You could return to your small worlds and live peacefully. Why sacrifice everything?" Riza smiled, and in that expression was something that made every being in the amphitheater pause. It wasn't the calculating smile of the Plutonians or the fierce grin of the Valorians. It was something entirely human, warm, genuine, and completely fearless. "Because, Your Majesty, that's what humans do. We don't calculate odds or measure benefits. When someone needs help, we step forward. When someone is alone, we offer companionship. When someone faces exile and disgrace through no fault of their own, we stand beside them." She pulled out her worn journal and opened it to a page covered in neat handwriting. "I've spent the last month studying your people's history, your laws, your culture. Not because my government ordered it, but because I wanted to understand. You've ruled with wisdom and compassion for 3 centuries. You've prevented 17 wars and established the first truly equitable trade agreements in galactic history. The idea that you should lose everything because of an ancient law, it's wrong. Queen Ana descended from her throne, moving with fluid grace until she stood before the human ambassador. Up close, the size difference was dramatic. Ana towered nearly 3 meters tall, her crystalline features alien and beautiful. Yet somehow Riza showed no intimidation. "You would really do this?" Ana asked. "Leave behind everything human, everyone you've ever known?" "I would," Riza replied simply. "But I hope I won't have to leave behind everything human. I hope to bring the best parts of humanity with me, our loyalty, our stubborn refusal to abandon people in need, our ability to find family anywhere in the galaxy." For the first time in 3 centuries, Queen Ana felt tears form in her multifaceted eyes. She looked around the amphitheater at the other delegates, all of whom had remained seated, all of whom had chosen self-preservation over honor. Then she looked back at the small human woman who had stood alone against the silence. "Ambassador Riza Chen of Earth," Queen Ana said formally, her voice once again carrying to every corner of the amphitheater. "I accept your proposal, but know this, you will not rule as a subordinate consort. You will be my equal partner, co-regent of the Zephyrian Empire, and your first decree will be to establish the Terran Cultural Preservation Act, ensuring that human customs and values are protected and celebrated throughout our realm." The amphitheater exploded in noise again, but this time it was different. Mixed with the outrage and disbelief was something else: respect. Even the Valorians, for whom honor was everything, began to understand what they had witnessed. As Riza took Queen Ana's crystalline hand in her small human one, she whispered, "I think this is going to be the beginning of something extraordinary." And across the galaxy, on 12 modest human worlds, people would soon learn that sometimes the greatest victories come not from strength or cunning, but from the simple willingness to stand up when everyone else sits down. The age of human influence in galactic politics had begun, not through conquest or manipulation, but through the most human trait of all: refusing to let someone face their darkest moment alone.